The mining colony on Europa was quiet that morning. 7-year-old Sarah Chun played with her toy spaceship near the observation deck while her parents worked in the research lab. The Europa mining station housed only 50 humans, mostly scientists and their families. It was humanity's furthest permanent outpost from Earth. Commander Jung-hoon watched the monitors from the control room. Everything seemed normal until strange energy readings appeared on the sensors. 3 massive ships emerged from hyperspace, bearing the golden insignia of the Zirconian Empire. The Empire controlled half the galaxy with their advanced technology and ruthless military. Unknown vessels. "This is Europa Station. Please state your intentions," Jung-hoon transmitted. The response came in broken English through the universal translator. "Humans occupy Zirconian territory. You have 1 hour to evacuate." Jung-hoon's blood ran cold. Europa had been human territory for 30 years. The mining rights were legally registered with the Galactic Council. "This is sovereign human territory. We have legal documents." A bright beam of energy cut through space. It struck the station's residential wing where Sarah was playing. The explosion threw the small girl against the wall. Her screams echoed through the communication system as her mother, Dr. Min-jun, ran to her daughter. Sarah's arm was badly burned, her small body shaking with pain and fear. The attack had been deliberate, targeting the weakest area of the station where families lived. The Zirconians' new children were aboard. Captain Zex of the lead Zirconian ship appeared on the screen. His reptilian features showed no emotion. "This is a warning. Leave now or face complete destruction." The transmission ended. Jung-hoon immediately sent an emergency message to Earth. The video footage showed everything. The unprovoked attack, Sarah's injuries, her terrified cries. Within minutes, the message reached Earth's Global Defense Council. Back on Earth, Admiral Seo Yan stood before the emergency assembly. The footage played on the massive screen. World leaders watched in horror as Sarah cried in her mother's arms, her small hand reaching out in pain. The room fell silent. "They attacked a child," Seo Yan said quietly. "An innocent 7-year-old girl on a peaceful mining station." Her voice grew stronger. "The Zirconian Empire thinks humans are weak. They think we are easy targets because we are new to space travel." The Chinese representative stood up. "What do you propose, Admiral?" Seo Yan's eyes were hard as steel. "We show them what happens when someone hurts our children. We show the galaxy that humanity protects its own." Within hours, Earth's entire fleet was mobilized. Not just military ships, but civilian vessels volunteered too. Cargo ships were retrofitted with weapons. Mining vessels became assault craft. The news of Sarah's injury spread across human social media. The hashtag for Sarah went viral. Millions of humans demanded justice. The Zirconians had made a critical mistake. They studied human military capabilities, but ignored human psychology. They didn't understand that humans would unite completely when their young were threatened. They didn't know about humanity's history of total war when pushed too far. On Europa, Sarah lay in the medical bay, her arm in bandages. Her father, Chun, held her good hand while Min-jun operated the medical equipment. The station was evacuating, but slowly. The Zirconian ships still waited outside, weapons powered. "Daddy, why did they hurt me?" Sarah asked weakly. "I wasn't doing anything bad." Chun's jaw clenched. "Some beings think they can hurt others because they're stronger, sweetheart. But they're wrong. Help is coming." As he spoke, the first human warships dropped out of hyperspace near Mars. And more came. And more. Within 6 hours, over 300 human vessels headed toward Europa. But that was just the beginning. On Earth, factories that made consumer goods switched to weapons production overnight. Citizens donated resources. Former soldiers re-enlisted. Scientists shared military technology freely. The entire human race transformed into a war machine with one purpose: protecting their own. The Zarkonian Empire had ruled for 1,000 years. They had conquered hundreds of worlds, but they had never faced a species like humanity. They were about to learn why humans survived on a death world. They were about to discover what happened when you touched a human child. Asterisk. Admiral Seo Yeon stood on the bridge of humanity's flagship, the UES Retribution. Around her, 300 human vessels moved in perfect formation toward Europa. The fleet was a mixture of military ships and converted civilian craft, all united with one purpose. Admiral, we're receiving a transmission from the Galactic Council. Her communications officer reported. The holographic image of Counselor Zircon appeared. The tall, ethereal being looked concerned. Admiral Seo Yan, the Council urges humanity to seek diplomatic solutions. The Zarkonian Empire is powerful. They attacked a child counselor, Seo Yan interrupted. A 7-year-old girl who was playing with toys. Where was the Council's diplomacy then? The Council was not aware. Now you are aware. Stand aside or stand with us, but do not stand in our way. She cut the transmission. Back on Europa, Commander Jung-hoon watched his tactical display with growing hope. The 3 Zarkonian ships still surrounded the station, but they seemed confused by the size of Earth's response. Captain Zex had stopped sending threats. In the medical bay. Sarah's condition was stable, but she remained weak. Dr. Min Jun had managed to treat the burns, but the child would need proper medical facilities on Earth for full recovery. Chang never left his daughter's side, reading her favorite stories to keep her calm. Commander, the Zarkonians are hailing us. An officer announced. Captain Zex appeared on screen, his reptilian features showing the first signs of uncertainty. Humans, your response is excessive. We fired a warning shot only. You fired on a section with children, Jung-hoon replied coldly. You knew exactly what you were doing. Meanwhile, on Earth, something unprecedented was happening. The news of Sarah's injury had spread to every corner of the planet. In factories across China, workers volunteered for extra shifts to produce weapons. In America, tech companies shared their most advanced AI systems with the military. In Russia, old Cold War bunkers were converted into ship manufacturing facilities. But it wasn't just the major powers. Small nations contributed what they could. Kenya sent their best pilots. Brazil offered their energy resources. Even Antarctica's research stations offered their scientists for the war effort. The human internet buzzed with activity. Sarah's picture, a smiling girl with pigtails, holding a toy spaceship, became a symbol. Artists created posters. Musicians wrote songs. The message was clear. Not our children. Never our children. The Zarkonian Empire's intelligence network was baffled. Their analysts had predicted humans would negotiate or retreat. Instead, humanity seemed to be mobilizing their entire civilization. Reports came in of humans selling personal belongings to fund more ships. Children held fundraisers. The elderly came out of retirement to work in factories. Emperor Varkin himself reviewed the reports from his golden throne on the Zarkonian homeworld. How many ships do the humans have now? He asked his military advisor. 300 approaching Europa, Divine Emperor. But our sensors detect massive construction efforts on Earth. They could have 1,000 ships within days. Impossible. No species mobilizes that quickly. The humans appear to be different, Divine Emperor. When we attacked their child, we seemed to have triggered something primal in their species. Back at Europa, the human fleet was now 12 hours away. Captain Zex's confidence was crumbling. His tactical officer reported energy signatures he'd never seen before. The humans had apparently developed new weapons in just hours. Reverse engineering captured alien technology and improving it with human creativity. Admiral Seo Yeon opened a channel to all Zarkonian ships in human space. This is Admiral CO Yan of Earth. You have 6 hours to withdraw from all human territory. This is your only warning, Captain Zex responded, trying to maintain his authority. The Zarkonian Empire does not yield to threats from primitive species. Then let me be clear, Xiao Yan interrupted. She activated a display showing Earth's mobilization. Right now, 1 billion humans are working to build weapons. Our entire planet has stopped everything else. No sports, no entertainment, no regular commerce. Just war preparation. Do you know why? Zex remained silent. Because you hurt one of our children. One child, Captain. Imagine what we'll do if you hurt another. The bridge of Zex's ship was quiet. His officers looked at their captain, waiting for orders. They had conquered many species, but none had responded like this. None had united so completely, so quickly, with such fury. Admiral, Zex finally spoke. Surely we can reach an agreement. The agreement is simple. Leave. Now, and never touch a human child again. Asterisk. The human fleet dropped out of hyperspace at Europa like a swarm of angry hornets. 300 ships of every size and configuration surrounded the 3 Zarkonian vessels. The contrast was starkly elegant, golden. Empire ships against the mixed human fleet of gray military vessels and colorfully painted converted civilian ships. Captain, Zex stared at his tactical display in disbelief. A cargo hauler painted with children's drawings was armed with nuclear missiles. A luxury cruise ship had been fitted with railguns. Even small personal yachts carried weapons. Every human who could fly had come to fight. Captain, they're all targeting us, his weapons officer reported, voice shaking. Every single ship has a weapons lock. Admiral Co Yan's image appeared on every screen in the Zarkonian ships. Captain Zex, you have 2 minutes to begin withdrawal. This is not a negotiation. On Europa Station, Sarah Chun watched from her medical bed as her father showed her the tactical display. Look, sweetheart. All those ships came for you. Sarah's eyes widened. All of them? But there are so many. Every one of them heard what happened to you, Chun said softly. They all came to protect you. The little girl's eyes filled with tears, not of pain this time, but of wonder. She didn't fully understand war or politics, but she understood that all these people cared about her. Captain Zex was receiving frantic communications from the Empire. The sudden human mobilization had caught them completely off guard. More concerning were the intelligence reports. Humans were still building ships. The 300 here were just the first wave. Divine Emperor, Zex transmitted to his homeworld, requesting instructions. The humans have surrounded us with a significant force. Emperor Varkon's response was typical of Zarkonian arrogance. Destroy them. Show these primitives the power of the Empire. But Zex hesitated. His scanners showed something troubling. The human ships weren't just armed. They were overloaded with weapons. Some civilian ships carried so much ordnance, they could barely maintain stable flight. These weren't soldiers following orders. These were angry parents, brothers, sisters, and neighbors who had come to defend their young. Emperor, if we engage, they will fight to the last ship. Win or lose, the losses will be... Are you questioning my orders, Captain? Before Zex could respond, something unexpected happened. A small shuttle launched from the human flagship. It moved slowly, deliberately, toward Zex's ship. The shuttle had no weapons, no shields. It broadcasted on all frequencies. Request permission to board. Diplomatic envoy. Admiral Siu Yun watched as her secret weapon approached the Zarkonian ship. She had sent someone the Empire couldn't ignore, someone who would make them understand the gravity of their mistake. The shuttle docked with Zex's ship. A single human walked through the airlock. It was Min Jun, Sarah's mother. She still wore her medical scrubs, stained with her daughter's blood. In her hand, she carried a tablet. The Zarkonian guards didn't know what to do. They were trained to fight soldiers, not mothers. Min Jun walked past them without fear, straight to the bridge where Captain Zex waited. "Captain," she said calmly, though her eyes burned with fury. "I am Dr. Min Jun Chun. You shot my daughter." Zex shifted uncomfortably. It was a warning shot. Min Jun held up the tablet. On it played a video Sarah in the hospital bed, crying, asking why the aliens hurt her. She's 7 years old. She likes to draw pictures of stars and dreams of being a pilot like her uncle. You shot her. The bridge was silent. Even the Zarkonian officers seemed affected by the video. Every human ship out there, Min Jun continued, has seen this video. They've heard her cry. They know her name. She's not just my daughter anymore. She's humanity's daughter. And you hurt her. She stepped closer to Zex. Your empire has conquered many worlds. Tell me, Captain, have you ever faced a species that would send every single ship, spend every single resource, sacrifice every single life to protect one child? Zex didn't answer. We evolved on a death world, Captain. We survived predators, disasters, and each other by protecting our young at all costs. It's not strategy or politics. It's biology. It's what we are. She looked directly into his reptilian eyes. Leave now, or face extinction. Not defeat extinction, because we will never stop coming for you. The room was thick with tension as Min Jun turned and walked back to her shuttle, leaving the video playing on repeat. Sarah's small voice asking, "Why did they hurt me, Daddy?" Emperor Varkon stood in his war chamber, surrounded by holograms of his military advisors from across the empire. The situation at Europa was being broadcast live to all Zarkonian leadership. They watched as Min Jun's shuttle returned to the human fleet. "Divine Emperor," his chief advisor spoke carefully, "the humans have mobilized their entire civilization. Our economic specialists report they've converted 78% of their industrial capacity to war production in less than 10 hours. Impossible, Varkin hissed. No species can restructure that quickly. The humans appear to operate differently when their offspring are threatened. Divine Emperor. Our xenobiologists call it protective rage. It overrides their normal behavioral patterns. On Captain Zex's ship, the crew was growing nervous. The human fleet had begun something strange. Each ship was broadcasting messages. Not military communications, but personal recordings. "This is James from Texas. I've got 3 kids. I'm here for Sarah. This is Yuki from Tokyo. My daughter is 8. We stand with Sarah. This is Carlos from São Paulo, father of 2. Nobody hurts our children." Message after message, hundreds of them. Each human ship identified themselves not by military designation, but by their role as parents, siblings, aunts, uncles, family. The Zarkonian crew had never encountered anything like it. Meanwhile, on Earth, the second wave was nearly ready. 500 more ships built in record time. But more disturbing to Zarkonian intelligence were the other reports. Human scientists had released all classified military research to the public. Weapons that would have taken years to develop were being created in hours through unprecedented collaboration. Admiral SEO Yan received an encrypted message from Earth's president. "Admiral, you have full authority. The entire planet stands behind you. Bring Sarah home safe." She opened a channel to Captain Zex. "Captain, 1 minute remains. I should inform you that our second wave will arrive in 6 hours. The third wave, 12 hours after that. We will continue sending waves until either you leave or we run out of humans." "What will it be?" Captain Zex looked at his tactical officer. "Can we defeat them?" "The first wave?" "Possibly, sir, with heavy losses. But if their intelligence is correct about the additional waves, ... We would need the entire Imperial fleet. Another officer finished. Emperor Varkon was receiving similar assessments. The humans weren't the strongest species the Empire had faced, nor the most advanced. But they were doing something unprecedented, turning their entire civilization into a weapon, aimed at anyone who hurt their child. Divine Emperor, an economic advisor interrupted. We're receiving reports from border systems. Human trading vessels are withdrawing from all Zarkonian space. They're implementing a complete economic embargo. Other species are beginning to follow their lead. Why would others support them? The humans are sharing the video of the injured child with every species. Many have offspring of their own. The emotional response is spreading. Back at Europa, Sarah Chun was being prepared for evacuation. She would be on the first transport back to Earth once it was safe. As medical staff moved her to the shuttle, she asked to send a message. Jung Hoon brought her a communicator. With her good hand, Sarah pressed the button. Her small voice broadcast to every human ship. Thank you for coming to help me. My mommy says you're all very brave. I drew pictures for you when I get better. The human fleet's response was immediate. Every ship flashed their lights in acknowledgement, a sparkling display visible even from the station. Several of the civilian ships fired flares that burst into colorful patterns. Like fireworks for the little girl. Captain Zex watched this display with growing understanding. These humans weren't just defending territory or resources. They had come for her, for one small child they'd never met. His own species would never do such a thing. The Empire protected assets, not individuals. Captain, his communications officer announced, Emperor Varkon demands an update. Zex stared at the human fleet, at the lights still flashing for Sarah, at the more ships arriving every moment. He thought of Min Jun's words, of the video of Sarah asking why they hurt her, of the billion humans working to build weapons. Tell the Emperor ... Zex paused, knowing his next words would define his legacy. Tell him we cannot win this war. Not because they are stronger, but because they will never stop. They will spend every resource, sacrifice every ship, lose every battle if necessary, but they will keep coming. For her, for one child. Sir, the Emperor will... The Emperor has never faced humans, Zex interrupted. He turned to his navigation officer. Begin withdrawal procedures. All Zarkonian ships are to leave human space immediately. The bridge fell silent. Withdrawing without firing a shot would be seen as cowardice by the Empire. But Zex had seen something in Min Jun's eyes, heard something in Sarah's voice, witnessed something in humanity's response that convinced him. This was not a war the Empire could win. Asterisk. As the Zarkonian ships powered up their hyperdrives, Captain Zex made an unprecedented decision. He opened a channel, not just to the human fleet, but to the entire Galactic Council network, a broadcast that would reach every civilized system in the Elized galaxy. This is Captain Zex of the Zarkonian Empire. Let all species witness what has occurred here at Europa. He paused, his reptilian features showing something rarely seen in his species' respect. The Empire fired upon a human child. In response, the humans mobilized their entire civilization. Not just their military, every human, from farmers to scientists, united with one purpose. The other Zarkonian ships tried to cut his transmission, but Zex had locked them out. He continued, the Empire has conquered hundreds of worlds through superior technology and military might. But we have never encountered this a species that would burn their entire civilization to ash to protect one child. The humans call it love. We have no equivalent word. On the human flagship, Admiral Seo Yeon listened in surprise. This admission from a Zarkonian captain would reshape galactic politics. Emperor Varkon watched from his throne, his rage building. Captain Zex, you will cease this transmission immediately. But Zex ignored him. To all species listening, know this about humans. They are not the strongest, not the most advanced, but they possess something we do not. They will sacrifice everything for their young. The Empire withdraws not from fear of their weapons, but from recognition of their will. We apologize. To the human child Sarah Chun, the last word seemed to physically pain him. The Zarkonian Empire had never apologized to anyone in its 1,000-year history. As the Zarkonian ships entered hyperspace, the human fleet remained vigilant until the last energy signature disappeared. Then a celebration erupted across the ships. Not of victory in battle, but of something more profound. They had protected their own without firing a shot. On Europa Station, Sarah Chun was carried aboard the medical transport. As she passed the viewport, she saw all the human ships forming an honor guard for her departure. Ships that had come to fight were now her protectors, her escorts home. "Daddy," she whispered to Chun, "did we win?" Chun hugged his daughter gently. "Yes, sweetheart. We won because everyone came together for you." The journey back to Earth became a triumph unlike anything in human history. Every colony they passed sent messages of support. Mars Station lit up its entire dome in Sarah's favorite color, purple. The moon base arranged their lights to spell out, "Welcome home, Sarah," visible from Space Dot when they reached Earth. Sarah was transferred to the best medical facility in Geneva. But she wasn't alone. Gifts, letters, and drawings from children all over the world filled her room. She had become more than a victim. She had become the child who united humanity. Admiral Co. Yeon visited her personally, bringing a special gift, a model of her flagship with a plaque reading, "To Sarah Chun, the bravest girl in the galaxy." "Admiral," Sarah asked, her arm still bandaged, but her spirit bright, "will the bad aliens come back?" Seo Yeon knelt beside her bed. "No, sweetheart. They learned something important. They learned that humans protect their children. Always." The galactic response was immediate and dramatic. The Galactic Council officially censured the Zarkonian Empire for attacking a civilian child. But more importantly, word spread throughout the galaxy about humanity's response. Species that had dismissed humans as newcomers now understood them differently. Within days, several species reached out to establish protective alliances with Earth. They wanted to be friends with the species that would mobilize billions to protect one child. The Altarian Federation sent a message. Any species that protects its young with such devotion is a species worth knowing. Captain Zek's faced trial on the Zarkonian homeworld for his unauthorized withdrawal and public apology. But something unexpected happened. Younger Zarkonians, influenced by his broadcast, began questioning the Empire's methods. For the first time in centuries, reform movements started within Zarkonian society. Months later, Sarah had fully recovered. She returned to Europa Station with her parents for its rebuilding ceremony. The station would be larger now, better defended, but most importantly, it would house a new section of school and playground named Sarah's Garden. As Sarah played with other children in the new playground, she didn't fully understand how she had changed history. She didn't know that her name was now spoken in 100 languages across the galaxy. She didn't realize that the Sarah Protocol had become humanity's official doctrine. Any attack on human children would result in total civilization. Mobilization. She was just a 7-year-old girl who liked to draw stars and play with toy spaceships. But she was also the child who taught the galaxy a fundamental truth about humanity. Humans would move heaven and earth, challenge empires, and unite as one species to protect their young. Standing at the observation deck, Min Jun and Chun watched their daughter play. The stars beyond seemed less cold, less dangerous now. The galaxy knew humans were here, and more importantly, they knew what humans stood for. "No one will touch our children again," Min Jun said quietly. Chun nodded, holding his wife close. "The whole galaxy knows now. Humanity protects its own. In the playground, Sarah's laughter echoed through the station, the sound of innocence preserved, of childhood protected, of humanity's greatest victory, won not through conquest, but through love. The end asterisk.